When I was at Fox News, which was a long time, 14 years, I would have known exactly what to do in the wake of Trump's attack in Venezuela, his retrieval, shall we say, to put it in mild terms, of Nicolas Maduro. I would have known that I was supposed to cheerlead it. And I turned on Fox News yesterday, and I'm sorry, but it was like watching Russian propaganda.
Welcome back, folks. Buckle up. We've got a wild one today. Megyn Kelly, a name synonymous with tough journalism, has dropped a bombshell, basically calling out her old stopping grounds, Fox News, for pushing what she calls Russian propaganda. Can't believe we're going back to that. But now, that's a spicy meatball, even for her. We're diving deep into this clip to expose the truth, challenge some flimsy arguments, and maybe even have a laugh or two at the expense of those who think we are all just sheep to the herd. Let's roll and see what we got.
Megyn Kelly is not wrong, and we'll show you the goods in just a moment, but she did have some harsh words for her former place of employment, Fox News, and her former colleagues, presumably. Now, Cenk, your 2 cents?
Yeah, look, you got to watch the whole thing because she's basically now dishing dirt, as Tucker is too, about Fox News and what they were really up to. But you already saw something super consequential. She just told you she would know what to do if she was at Fox News. They don't have independent judgment there. They are ordered to say certain talking points, and they are almost always on behalf of the donors, the rich, the powerful, etc. And now you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. You're hearing former Fox News anchors say, of course, and now that we're independent, that's not our real opinion and never was. And that's kind of damning of everyone involved.
I mean, it is damning of everyone involved, but I'm not trying to provide cover for the hosts, but I also understand what it's like to need to earn a living, right? And getting very comfortable at your place. And I'm not talking about TYT. Obviously, I've been here forever and I want to be here. But there have been other situations in which you find yourself needing to make extra money and not really loving your situation, but you don't really have a choice. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's come up. And so I don't really begrudge people for needing to earn a living, even if they're in a situation where they're feeling pressure to say certain things they might not believe.
Whoa. Let's hold on for a minute. Did you just hear that? Megyn Kelly, who used to be a Fox News veteran, just dropped the R word, Russian propaganda, on her former employer. What? And not only did she do that, she admits flat out she knew she was supposed to cheerlead whatever narrative they want to push that day. Look, I'm not here to carry water for any major network, left or right. But when someone from inside the machine pulls back the curtain like that, you got to pay attention. This isn't just about Fox, folks. This is about the entire mainstream media ecosystem. For years, we've been told that real journalism is dead, replaced by bipartisan cheerleading. Megyn Kelly just confessed to it. She just said flat out, with a neon sign flashing, confirming that many of us have suspected for ages that these networks are really informing you. They're not really informing you. They're shaping you. They're selling you a worldview, not just news. And let's be honest, the idea of cheerleading isn't unique to Fox. Come on, Fox, MSNBC, CNN. You think any of these guys don't do the same thing? They do. Please. It's like watching two rival sports play, and each with everyone dedicated to the one and want to do the best they can and tell you which side they're on always, or that's right and they're wrong. The difference is in sports, it's entertainment. And news, they pretend it's objective truth. But you and I both know it's complete BS. The real takeaway here is not to blindly trust any single news source. Not Fox, not CNN, not even your favorite podcast host. Though we try our best to be the honest one. Don't get me wrong, I try to be the honest one. It's about being a critical consumer of information. It's about recognizing when you're being fed a narrative versus being given facts. When a network tells you to rah-rah specific government action, especially one as complex as a foreign intervention that our country is, that cue means to hit the brakes, do your own research, and question the motives. Because if Megyn Kelly, who was at Fox News for a long time, felt like the propaganda mouthpiece was not her thing, What does that say about where she is now and where she was then? It means we need to be more vigilant than ever. Don't let anyone tell you what to think. Let them tell you what happened, and then you decide for yourself. That's true independence. She and other people and other commentators for CNN and Fox, they're doing it for just a paycheck.
Yeah, I get it. So look, Anna's going to give you this story, but I'll also add at the end the pressure I had when I was a host on MSNBC. And so, and it's, I mean, I think it's a double-edged sword. I mean, like you could say, oh yeah, there's pressure and you got to earn a living, but also some of these guys make $20 million a year.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Right.
But you get used to that money. You get used to that money, right?
Yeah, and by the way, on a sense, you don't need the money anymore after you've done that a couple of years. On the other hand, it's awfully tough to turn down $5 million a year, $20 million a year.
You did it. Maybe not 5 million, but you turned down a pretty lucrative contract with MSNBC back when it was called MSNBC.
So I want to tell you about the people that still stayed on MSNBC and the deal that they really had to do, like the Fox deal.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about what Megyn Kelly has to say about what the Trump administration just carried out in Venezuela.
I love our military as much as anyone, and I believe in President Trump, but there are serious reasons to just exercise a note of caution before we just get on the rah-rah train. All right, I have done that enough times in my career as a Fox News anchor to have been embarrassed enough to know I'm gonna stay on the yellow light for this.
So I really do commend her for being honest about that, because it doesn't just make Fox look bad. I mean, it's self-deprecating because she is conceding that she would go along with it, right? And look, I'm sure she feels way more liberated now because she has her own podcast. It's tremendously successful and she's her own boss. So she doesn't have to kowtow to anybody, and that's amazing. Anyway, but at the same time, I do want to add just one quick thing. A lot of people who have their own independent shows do still feel pressure. It's just that their pressure is from the audience, right? So audience capture is very real. I think our audience has become accustomed to me not really caring about them getting upset at my opinions. I'm gonna share my opinions no matter what. I've always been that way. But a lot of people don't want to deal with backlash from their audience, so they kind of go along with what their audience wants.
I mean, look, at this point, you could argue in a sense that like, since people know us for being independent and we'd like to think honest, we try our hardest, and now a lot of people are acknowledging it, right? They agree, disagree, but they know we're being honest with them because we don't get audience captured and we don't get captured by any of these interests. And I think that's why people do come to us. So we have that advantage, so that's great. But I want to go back to Venezuela for a second.
Yes.
And it actually is somewhat related to the audience capture. There's a reason why Megyn Kelly's at a yellow light. And yesterday we showed you Posobiec, Steve Bannon, even Sagar and Jetty, all at a yellow light, okay? And that's partly because some portion of their audience is saying, wait, we're anti-war, right? But other portions of their audience is saying, oh, this was awesome, man. We bombed things, we killed people, and we kidnapped them. We're America, we're strong. And a lot of MAGA did love what happened, and Trump's popularity has gone up.
It has, yes.
So that's why they're like, yellow light, right? And to be fair to them, by the way, I get it, because we don't know, is this all, or are we gonna get sucked into a quagmire and have ground troops? So to be fair to them, yellow light is warranted.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got it at a total red light, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. And look, I much prefer her commentary here as opposed to what we heard from Megyn Kelly. And honestly, I found it tasteless and I really didn't like it when she was egging on, cheering on the strikes against random fishing boats that didn't even have the capacity to make it to the United States. And so she unfortunately believed the Trump administration's lies about how, ooh, those are really dangerous drug trafficking boats. But at least here, she's like, wait, pause. I heard her condemn the notion of sending ground troops to Venezuela. And she also pointed to Iraq and Libya as two examples of American foreign policy failures. She has Glenn Greenwald on the show regularly, and Glenn Greenwald's pretty great on foreign policy issues. So I'm really happy to see him on her show on a regular basis. Now, let's take a quick trip over to Fox News and see what their coverage is looking like.
There was a time when conquest was celebrated for God, for King, for glory, for Americans. There's no such thing as stolen land. There's no such thing as international law. There's only such thing as conquest. And if it serves Americans, then so be it. We rule the jungle. We are the lion.
All right, hold the phone. Let's slow this down for a second. Did you just hear that? There's no such thing as international law. There's only such thing as conquest. And if that serves America, then so be it. We rule the jungle. We are the lions. Wow. Just crazy. This isn't just a hot take. This is a full-blown meltdown of assembly of coherent foreign policy or moral compass. Let's unpack this law of the jungle nonsense. So basically, let's look at this. Okay, this might be right, but let's see it. Whoever has the biggest stick gets the true terms, to steal the land and do whatever they please. That's not a foreign policy strategy. That's a recipe for global anarchy and endless wars. It's the kind of thinking that leads to every nation army to the teeth, constantly jockeying for position and waiting for the opportune moment to pounce on the weaker neighbor. And you know what that sounds like? No peace, no prosperity, just complete freaking chaos. These are the same folks who scream about rule of law when it comes to domestic issues, demanding strict adherence to every letter of the Constitution. But when it comes to international relations, suddenly it's anything goes. Do what you like. Try that. It doesn't matter. We're the big dogs. That's not principled conservatism. That is literally anarchy. It's picking and choosing your moral basis and being more convenient, not conviction. And this idea that if it serves America, then so be it. Who defines serves America? Is it a panel of talking heads on cable news? Is it a select few politicians? True American interests are served by stability, by trade, by alliances, by upholding a system that, for all its flaws, has largely prevented other global catastrophes since World War II. It's not served by acting like a bull in a china shop, alienating allies and giving every rival nation a reason to fear and despise us. We're there trying to be the lion to help the herd, not be the chaos that doesn't come around and kills us all. We need some stability, and we all need to understand that.
If you don't use it, you lose it. And that goes for Greenland, and it also goes for all the oil that Venezuela has. And Denmark better wise up. They should sell it to us, lease it to us, so we can run it together. Who cares? But we need it more than they do. Same with the oil.
America and the world is a safer, freer place. And this administration, they're making no apologies, nor should they.
In fact, taking Maduro into custody, I argue, was quintessentially MAGA.
Look, during this holiday season and even afterwards now into the new year, we're trying to give you guys something back.
International law doesn't matter. Stealing land doesn't matter. Interesting. Now, China has grown its influence considerably and has made quite a bit of investment in growing their military capacity and capability. So if they manage to build their military up to the point where they're a formidable foe to the United States, military foe to the United States. By the way, as the United States continues bleeding out on the international stage because of all these foreign entanglements we get involved in, and because of the fact that our Federal Reserve keeps printing money to pay for all of this crap, is Fox News gonna say, hey, this should be celebrated, conquest should be celebrated? There is no international law. There is no international law.
Okay, guys.
It's pathetic.
I mean, it's actually quite obvious. So I remember fighting the Nazis because we did care about international law and land conquest. And it was not such a great thing that they were the lion and they took Austria and Poland and Belgium and etc. So now they're coming back around and going, who cares, man? If you're strong like the Nazis were, just take it, right?
Thievery is apparently totally okay.
Yeah.
So who cares about the shoplifting chains and like all? Who cares? There is no law.
Law of the jungle. They're the lions. They're the guys going in and apparently stealing stuff at CVS and stuff. They're saying, now I'm the lion. What are you going to do about it?
There is no law.
There is no law. As Matt Walsh said yesterday, international law is gay and fake. Okay, now,
oh my God.
Okay, so he's a buffoon. I got it, right? But look at this. This is Fox News, and they're all saying it. They all have the same talking point. Ignore the law. let's note for the record that these are the guys who base their entire party on the rule of law. And law and order, that's what Republicans and the right wing's about. Law and frickin' order. Unless, of course, it's law we don't like, in which case it's gay and we ignore it, okay? So last analogy here. I'm trying not to bring Israel into this, but okay, so Israel loves this kind of talk. Who cares? Conquest, just take their land. Kill their people, take their land. But wait, what if it's us or our allies? Now, of course, America is very hard to kill and take our land, right?
For now.
Well, what if the Arab countries or Iran or Russia or China decided, you know what, I think you guys are right, and I'm not gonna take Taiwan, they're too small an economy. I'll take Israel.
And there it is, the perfect logic fallacy laid bare. The speaker here nails it with the Israel analogy, because suddenly when the shoe is on the other foot, when it's our allies or our interests that are threatened by this law of the jungle mentality, all the chest thumping about conquest and no international law vanishes faster than the political pundits' whole campaign. Suddenly, international law does matter. Suddenly, sovereignty is scarce. It is sacred to many people. Suddenly, we need to send troops in, spend trillions to defend our values because, gosh darn it, those aggressors are violating the very principles we just dismissed for ourselves. It's the ultimate rules for thee, but not for me argument. And it's infuriating to understand that some kind of political discourse is like this. This isn't just hypocrisy, it's short-sighted and dangerous. You can spend years advocating for a world where only brute force matters, where treaties are scraps of paper, and then you expect those same rules to apply to you when you're the one being targeted. It's like telling your kids stealing is fine if you're strong enough to get away with it. And then being snatched and then someone steals something from you. That's not right. No, that's complete hypocrisy. And let's be clear, the United States created much of the international legal framework after World War II precisely to prevent this kind of global free-for-all that led to 2 horrific wars before. We built institutions, we forged alliances, and we establish norms because we understand that stable, predictable world, even with its imperfections, is infinitely better for American prosperity and security than a world where everyone is aligned, devouring the lambs. We want to take care of the world. We don't want to destroy it and benefit from it, because that's what our forefathers wanted.
So would all of those commentators and all those pundits come out and go, who cares? Law of the jungle. Russia took Israel and they should take Israel. Conquest, they're the lion and Israel is the lamb and I'm glad they were slaughtered. No, you know what they would say. They would say, America, you have to defend it. You have to, I don't care how many men die. I don't care how many trillions of dollars you have to spend. International law has been breached. Our beloved Israel has been attacked, right? So I'm just saying that it's obvious that it's contextual. If you feel like you're a little stronger, yeah, you want to break the law. But there's a reason why the law exists. Because one day you're not going to be stronger. In certain contexts, you're not stronger. And we're gonna have chaos and anarchy with everyone attacking one another if there is no international law. And you know who created a national law? We did, America did. We should be super proud of that because it has brought down conflict since 1945. We nearly murdered all of us in 1945 in World War II. And we've avoided World War III until now. Why? Because we had international law.
Yep. And just to take it back to Megyn Kelly for 1 second, there's nothing better than freedom. And when you have your own thing going and you're your own boss, that's freedom. So exercise that freedom and say what you really think. And I'm happy to see that she's doing that.
Yeah, and last thing is because I promised you super quick and become a member, I'll tell you the full story. At MSNBC, you always knew where the guardrails were. And if you didn't know it, they would politely remind you and then not so politely, and then they'd have meetings about it, et cetera. So every host on MSNBC knows, for example, for 20 years straight, you could not criticize Democratic leadership. If you did, you were gonna be in trouble. So they know that there's only a certain amount of opinion they're allowed on MSNBC or on Fox News or on CNN. And they all know instinctually, if I don't wanna risk my millions of dollars in salary, I'm going to be a good boy and good girl, and I'm going to tell you that Pelosi and Biden are the greatest thing in the world, and they're super young, and the Republicans are the real enemy, and don't worry about lobbyists or money or corporations, etc. So they're doing propaganda in those places.
All right, folks, that was a wild ride. Uncovering the double standards and questionable logic that sometimes parades as news. From Megyn Kelly's shocking confession to the blatant hypocrisy on international law. It's clear we need to keep our eyes wide open. Don't let anyone tell you what to think. Think for yourselves. And if you like this deep dive, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification button so you don't miss our next takedown of flawed arguments. Your support helps us bring you the truth, unfiltered and unapologetic. Until next time, stay sharp, stay informed, and stay free.